Hello, Ladislas Maurice from the wanderinginvestor.com. So today in beautiful Nairobi in Kenya, and I bought an apartment here in Nairobi, my first apartment in Kenya, together with my friend Sasha, who also bought an apartment in the same development. So I've known Sasha for what, like
14 years.
14 years. We used to live in West Africa. We used to work there together, and he's been based here in Nairobi for a very long time. And so we went around. Pratik here is my agent, and he took us around to look at a bunch of developments all over Nairobi. And then we ended up zeroing on this one. One of the main reasons being apart from the usual price, value, the way the units look, etc., is this specific neighborhood that we're in Westlands in Rafta. So Sasha, you've been living here for a few years. So this essentially takes location risk away from my investments, because it's always a bit of an issue when you go somewhere, you make an investment, you're not too sure. You think you know the neighborhoods, but sometimes you're missing out on some angle. But here, Sasha lives here. So tell us a bit about this neighborhood and why you've been personally living here for a few years.
So I've been here for a few years because I like the area. It's very green, you can walk, it's got nice sidewalks, it's got a few nice cafes, supermarkets, it's got a nice paddle court. Nairobi's been taken over by a paddle craze, so we're all playing paddle, so it's a really nice location. It's also really close to the malls, it's close to the highway, and the area is still green, you've got nice views, and it's relatively quiet. So I've always been in this area. And now that this development came up, I thought it's a good time to buy.
Cool. So look, I understand that Kenya has its fair amount of challenges. The biggest one being the debt to GDP ratio, which is close to 80%, which is really high for an emerging market. The Kenyan government spends over 30% of government revenues on interest payments, right? So this means that at some point in the future, in the next few years, it's highly likely that Kenya will have some sort of debt crisis of some sort. So I'm going into this investment understanding this. Now, on the flip side of this, what I see is an economy that has amazing demographics. So unlike, Europe, East Asia, Latin America, North America, even increasingly South Asia, the demographics are very, very attractive. So I like having this sort of property diversification in my portfolio. And people must also understand that Kenya is, and specifically Nairobi, is a true hub in East Africa. So whenever international business seeks to expand in East Africa, the first place they go to is Nairobi. They send their first expats here, they recruit locally, local Kenyan talent, they bring in regional talent as well, and then they just operate from here. So Nairobi is really an international hub in many ways, and which makes it very resilient in spite of anything that can happen. It's very resilient, especially in terms of finding tenants. There's a lot of urbanization, a lot of expats. The place is very dynamic. And the economy in Kenya is also a lot more diversified than other economies in Africa. So it's not just agriculture and just like petrol, like a lot of or commodities. There's a lot of agriculture. There's a big services sector as well. Remittances are big. Tourism is big, and increasingly manufacturing as well, because Nairobi is becoming a manufacturing hub. We're seeing a lot of infrastructure development happening in Kenya as a whole, and even in East Africa. We're seeing these train lines that are gradually being put in place with a lot of Chinese investments. We've seen the train between Nairobi and Mombasa. In Tanzania, they're opening up train lines as well. In Uganda, they're looking at it, Rwanda, and everything will gradually link up. So, a lot of the debt sure was wasted, but you can actually see that a lot of the debt was actually spent on infrastructure that really increased the capacity of the economy. So personally, when I see this, I like the macro picture, understanding the typical emerging market risks, which I plan on speculating, thanks to the payment plans that Alex and his company offer. Alex is the developer. So at the end of the day, It's really about seeing the macro picture and then what valuations am I buying real estate. And then you'll see here, I mean, we're just buying, and a relative of mine as well, we're all just buying these 1 bedroom plus study for $70,000 per unit with payment plans over 2.5 years. We're looking in net square meters, probably around roughly $1,200 a square meter for prime new real estate in a capital city. So overall, I'm very comfortable. I know issues are coming this way, but I'm fine with it. So Pratik, you've seen, because I mean, you've been in the industry for quite a while here in Nairobi in real estate. You see a lot of foreign investment, and not just from, you know, the typical places that people think of, which is, you know, investments coming from China and investments coming from Western Europe and America. What do you see on the ground? Where's the money really coming from?
So, especially in Kenya, I think it's coming from everywhere. We spoke a bit before about the different types of developers in the country. It's not just Chinese, it's not just local Kenyans. There's Egyptians, Turkish, Eritreans, Singaporeans, all different kinds of developers that are coming to Kenya.
Yeah, so it's when you come here, and it's very different from going to Southern Africa, going to West Africa. Here, the source of FDI coming into Kenya is much more diversified, which I feel makes Kenya more resilient in many ways. So, Alex, you've been a developer here for how many years?
Actually, we have been here more than 10 years. Yeah, even myself, I've been here more than 10 years. The company, I think, even longer.
Even longer, eh?
Yeah.
So, how many developments have you completed here in Nairobi?
We have done 5 projects after I come.
And where are most of your investors from? So people buying into your apartments, where are they mostly from?
Actually, most investors, they are still Kenya, or maybe some other countries nearby. But we also have Chinese investors, European investments, some from Middle East, from India, from American, yeah.
And the foreigners that are investing here, do they come here personally to go look at the project, or are they just buying remotely?
Most of them, they don't come. Yeah, I think many of them, they are coming because of their friends. They have local friends here. They recommend our project, or maybe some professional agency, yeah, which is reliable. So they come here to do the investment. Yeah.
Fascinating. What's interesting to understand about, and we've had a lot of conversations about this, when you come to Nairobi and you look at developments, people say, oh, this is a Chinese developer, this is an Indian developer, this is a Somali developer.
Yeah.
And just by the ethnic group of the developer, there's a whole bunch of preconceptions. So, Alex, when you look at Chinese developers as a whole, right, and I know each developer is a little different, what do you feel is the value proposition of Chinese developers now in the Nairobi real estate market?
Okay, I think the biggest advantage of Chinese developer is their speed. You see, as an investor, what they care about is when can I get my return back. So according to me, all the Chinese developer I know, most developers, they can complete a project within 2.5 years. So it gives a lot of confidence to the clients. So they don't worry that, okay, I put the money somewhere, then I have to wait for 5 years, 10 years to get my return back. Or maybe you see there are also some development in Nairobi just stopped in the halfway. Mm-hmm. But according to me, I did not see any Chinese developer they do like this. So that's why we also have many loyal customers keep following with us. Yeah, they continue support with us because we give them enough return on time.
Yeah,
which is very important.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's important. I mean, when you're in emerging markets, the risk of bankruptcy is always higher than in other countries. With Chinese developers, they have a reputation for not going bankrupt and finishing their projects. So this is really a big one. So Alex, can you tell us a little bit more about the project? Just 30 seconds. Then after we're going to go check out the lot. We're going to go see the neighbors. I'm going to explain why it's important to have a look at the neighbors when you buy here in Nairobi, and we'll do all of the ROI numbers in terms of how much rental income we expect in detail to get to net ROI figures, taking into account all the expenses. So Alex, can you just give us like a 30-second rundown on the project?
Yeah, sure, of course. So this is our new project, which is just like 1 kilometer away from this office. It's along St. Michael's Road. So we have 3 blocks, Block A, B, and C. So in Block A, which is facing the road, we have the 1 bedroom or 1 bedroom plus study room. So they are all in Block A with independent entrance. Then in Block B, we have 2 bedroom plus studio. Then in Block C, you see which is totally separated, and we live around 18 meters between the 2 buildings. So it also have its independent entrance. Then it's all 3 bedroom with DSQ and 4 bedroom with DSQ. So for this 3 bedroom, because it's more for the occupiers, so we plan to provide the extra security to protect their privacy, and we are going to provide a better service, customized service. Yeah. Then for these 2 blocks, Block A, as I mentioned, we have 1 bedroom or 1 bedroom plus study. I think most this kind of product is for investors.
Yeah.
They are going to buy then rent out. For Block B, it's a balance between the investors and owners. So this we call it 2+ studio because we noticed first the studio currently in this market it's going to get more like a higher rent. I mean the return is faster than the bigger apartments. So it's very popular in the market. Then the 2 bedroom actually has the biggest rental market in Nairobi. So we combine them.
So this is an example of a 2 bedroom. Actually, let's use this one. There's a bit of light. 2 bedroom plus a separate studio. So, right? So 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom with a separate studio that you can rent out on a single title deed. So this is really for investors.
Yeah, not only investors. So as I mentioned, it's a balanced product. So even for the family clients, the family buyers or tenant, they can also use it as a 3 bedroom. But for an investor, they can rent a 2 bedroom. They can also rent the studio, which can give them a higher return.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is really unique. I haven't seen this in a lot of markets. This is really interesting. Okay, and the amenities, we're talking swimming pool, gym, just everything, right?
Yeah. So we also, of course, this is a high-end product. So we will provide a lot of common facilities, such as a swimming pool. And the swimming pool is indoor heated. We're gonna have a gym, which will be fully equipped. Except that we also going to equip it with sauna. Yeah. Then you can see we have some water features in the middle. We have the green area, recreation area. In the future, we also plan to have a established members club. Maybe it will be a indoor golf training area or a spa. Yeah, but this is not finalized, but we plan to have it.
Interesting.
Just to provide more value to the investors here.
I didn't know this. I bought this without knowing this. So nice added bonus. So look, I think it's important for people to understand the market because you're selling a bunch of 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms plus DSQ. So what is DSQ? DSQ is essentially servant quarters. So when people have a maid, a nanny, they can live there. They have like a little room with their own bathroom. So 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms plus the little separate quarters. So these apartments are massive, with nice views, everything, prime area. And I mean, they're 240 square meters gross?
Yeah.
So net, I don't know, it's always a little hard here. Probably like 190, 200 square meters net roughly. For approximately $200,000. So you're looking at $1,000 a square meter for massive apartments, right in the best neighborhoods of Nairobi, brand new with all the amenities. Look, in terms of value, it's hard to find this in many other markets. Yeah, so I've been staying at Sasha's place for the past 2 weeks, and I really like this neighborhood. You can see it's very walkable. People walk around. It's green. There are trees. So it's not like a lot of areas in Nairobi are a bit like concrete jungles, but not here. So, and we're just literally down the road here, 5 minutes away is the core center of Nairobi, the business center. Then you have these cute like little malls here. Slow down, Sasha. So this one's called Rafta Square. This is where Sasha hangs out. Art cafe. It's this nice restaurant. There's some food options, supermarket. And Sasha, you hang out at the next one a lot, right?
Yeah, so I come here for the cafe. There's 2 supermarkets. There's a vegetable and fruit store as well. And then there's a nice paddle court here, so it's quite convenient. And I can walk from my house as well.
And you could walk from that apartment from those apartments we're buying. And the fruit here in Kenya is amazing. The fruit and the vegetables. Kenya is a big exporter because if you travel around Africa, like there's often just buying fresh fruit and vegetables is a problem. There's not that much local production, but in Kenya it's very different. Like there are a lot of different options, and then the quality is really good. A lot of it just gets exported straight to Europe. And here they're building a new mall, a little mall. And there's a Carrefour. So Carrefour has all the European food you would want. So this just shows how premium an area it is. And just right around the corner from the new Carrefour, literally a 3-minute walk away is that development. So for finding tenants, etc., I was really considering getting the 4-bedroom apartment, because that would be typically targeting a family, either locals or expats or people from East Africa. And the husband typically works, the wife is at home, and she would absolutely love an area like this where she can, here you can see this one here, just jogging, right? She can go jogging, she can just walk to the supermarket, she doesn't need to take an Uber each time or to take the car. This area is really safe as well. So, for people who want to invest in a larger unit here in Nairobi, this is a really interesting option. Cool, so Pratik, in your company, you do a lot of property management as well. So let's say I give you, Sasha and I just hand over the 1-bedroom plus study over to you and say, find a tenant. How quickly could you find a tenant?
Yeah, so as we discussed previously, quite easily we could find a tenant. There's many expats here. There's many local people as well looking for homes. So it would be quite easy or relatively easy for us to find a tenant.
Can you quantify the quite or relatively easy? Like how many months or weeks or days?
We're talking about weeks, probably 1 or 2 weeks. As long as we put it into the market and it's ready and available to go.
Okay. What about the larger units, like 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms?
So there are always families looking to move to these areas because there's a lot of companies that are not too far away from here. So even that is relatively easy. Within a month or so, we could find a tenant.
Cool. So, Sasha, we were talking to one of her mutual friends recently, and she bought an apartment down the road, actually on Rafta Road, the one with all the little malls. And the entire block got rented by the Red Cross, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. This area is quite close to the highway, and then it's also quite close to Gigiri, so it's got access to the road that goes to Gigiri, which is where the UN is. So it's quite a popular area for a lot of expats. Again, it's close to work for the UN people, and it's also close to the center. So it's a good area for expats.
So look, Sasha, you've been living here for a few years, so why didn't you buy earlier? What was holding you back?
Honestly, I wish I would have bought earlier. I always thought, it's a bubble that's waiting to burst, but I kept kicking myself year after year because the developments kept coming up in Nairobi. I saw a lot of people get good ROI, and it just kept going and going. So I finally decided to pull the trigger. I also live in Kenya. It's my home. I see a future here. So both from an investment perspective and from a lifestyle, I decided to finally pull the trigger. And obviously this is a good development in a good area, and that's what I wanted to do.
You needed me to come over and like kick his butt and tell him at $1,200 a square meter for brand new buildings. Pretty luxurious. It's not a bubble.
It's unheard of at the moment, exactly.
Cool. So Alex, how big is this land?
This land is 0.93 acre,
Okay.
so almost 1 acre.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look, your previous developments were in more middle-class areas. Now you're going into a premium area. How do you plan on managing that transition from making middle-class buildings to what is supposed to be an upmarket offering?
Thank you for the question. It's a good question. We also notice Westland area is a more prime area, compared to other place. So in this project, we also adjust our design. So we plan to design the bigger floor apartments, like 3 and 4, which is more than 200 square meters for the high-end clients. So in regards of this kind of product, we are going to use better materials. We're going to provide more facilities, such as we provide the sauna. We're going to expand the size of the swimming pool. We're going to expand the size of gym with more equipment, and also create more recreation area for the clients. In regards of the service, because the service is also important for this kind of high-end clients, so we're going to have extra security for the bigger apartments. We're also going to provide the more customized service. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, from my experience with, or just from most people's experience with anything Chinese, things start off, just think of cars. I think cars are the best example. When the Chinese first started making cars, everyone said, oh, they're horrible. They were laughing at Chinese cars. It's, like, you don't take them seriously. And guess what? Now everyone wants to drive a Chinese EV. So what I'm seeing in terms of developers here is, and sometimes it's quite clear because some of your competition, they literally bought 3 or 4 plots next to each other. They'll develop one, sell it, then they'll start building the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and you can see the 4 generations of buildings side by side, and the improvement in design and quality is extremely visible. So from what I can see, and I don't know if you have anything to add on this, Pratik, it would just appear that Chinese developers, it's just incremental improvements each time.
Yeah, so is everything probably with the Chinese? They adapt quickly, they learn quickly, and they may have also been viewing other developments that are coming up and seeing that this is probably what we need to provide as well. So yes, heading in the right direction.
Cool. So Alex, can you tell us a bit about the neighbors? Because this is really important to understand when you invest in Nairobi. It's always who's the neighbor, what's the story. So tell us the neighbors on this side, that side, this side. What's their story, and how likely are they to sell? And then that we see a new building pop up, thus blocking the views.
So as you see, this land is touching St. Michael's Road. This area is a very prime area, very peaceful, good for living. So we have 3 side neighbors. This side is an eye clinic. It has been here for many years.
Is it a government eye clinic or is it a private eye clinic?
It's a private eye clinic, yeah. Then this side actually is the same landlord of this land. Actually, we negotiated with them. We want to buy together, but they did not agree. Actually, that one they are saying they are using as their own office. Yeah. Then the behind side is an old apartment, also have been built here for several years. So it's also, I don't think it's going to be demolished.
Cool. So in terms of risk, I see a bit of risk around there. The guy who sold the land, because if he sold land, he might sell more land later on. He just made enough money from you guys, so he's good for a bit.
Actually, he did not mention that. We talked to him. He doesn't want to sell.
He doesn't want
Yeah,
to
he
sell.
said
How
that.
big is his land?
It's
I think that one is similar like this one.
yeah.
He emphasized that one he want to use himself as an office.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, hard to tell. Some risk. The eye clinic, when we do drone footage above, it looks really old. So I don't know how long that eye clinic will stay there. Could be potentially an issue. On this side, part of the guy there, his offices, some of the homes there are actually quite nice. So maybe he won't really try to destroy them. He already got an offer, he refused. Some of these homes are quite nice. So I think there's less likelihood of something happening here than here, but I don't know. At the back, yeah, they're not going to destroy this. So the 4-bedroom units, the 3-bedroom units with DSQ, those are completely safe in terms of views. And the views are really nice. They're actually similar to Sasha's apartment. You have a view of it's very green. So we're going to move on to the ROI figures. Can you tell us 2 words about taxes here as a non-resident?
So as a non-resident, there are some taxes applicable. However, if you consult with us, we can see how to work around it and what is possible and not possible around taxes here.
So generally, if you buy as an individual, there's a gross withholding tax of 30%, which is really high. I haven't seen this deter anyone from investing here, and you speak to different accountants and they come up with different ways of trying to work around it. But effectively, I'm personally not too worried about it. I'm investing in spite of the tax regime.
And there are also the agreements with other countries that do benefit investors in Kenya.
Cool. Yeah, there's some double tax treaty agreements which could help in some cases. Cool. So let's do the numbers, right? So a model 1-bedroom, prices here in Kenya as you go up become more expensive depending on the floors. So model 1-bedroom is approximately on average 8 million shillings, which is about 62,000 US dollars for a 1-bedroom. The closing costs in total are between 6 and 6.5%. What would be the rental income that you would expect on a 1-bedroom apartment here?
So it could range possibly between 65,000 to 85,000 shillings, just depending on what has been built and what the amenities are and what's being provided in the apartments.
Cool. So Alex, in your previous development, which is in an area in Kilimani which is not as nice as here, with the finishings that are less nice than what should be here, how much are you renting out your 1-bedrooms for?
We have a project which is complete 5 months ago. We have 1-bedroom there, 1-bedroom plus study. Most of them are rent at between 80 to 85.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to use a figure of 80 to be conservative, with an occupancy rate of 95% because, it's easy to find tenants, etc.
Yes.
What is your fee, Pratik, for finding tenants?
So the fee is usually 1 month's commission, so 1 month's rent as commission.
And on average, people stay how long?
Close to about 1.5 years, so 18 months.
Cool. Look, we're going to keep 18 months for all the units, but objectively, the 3-bedrooms, 4-bedrooms, people typically stay a bit longer. And you'll also be offering property management services, right?
Yeah, we have a professional management team. Of course, there are some extra cost. They charge 5%. So if you are not in Kenya, you don't have to worry. You can give this job to the management team who is professional to handle it. Then you just pay them 5% of the monthly rent you own.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the tenant finder's fees. So essentially you have 2 options. You can go with Pratik, you can go with a property management company of the developer. Those are options. What are the service charges or HOA per month for 1-bedroom?
1-bedroom, the roughly charges around 7,000 shillings per month.
7,000 shillings. So you're looking at, $60 a month of HOA for a luxury building with swimming pools, gym, blah, 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 including property tax in there. So it's really not too extravagant. Then we put a bit of money for maintenance if there are any issues. and we get to a net yield pre-income tax of almost 8%. And these numbers are quite conservative. Look, I see a lot of supply coming. In Nairobi, there's a lot of building that's going on, but there's so much urbanization happening and so many people are moving here that I don't think filling up these buildings will be too hard. Maybe there'll be a cap on the rents. Maybe they won't increase that much, but I do see, I'm banking on capital appreciation with this investment, not just yield, but really capital appreciation. So we did these numbers as well for the 2-bedroom plus studio. We had roughly a 7.5% net rental yield, and then we did it as well for the 3 bedrooms plus servant quarters and 4 bedrooms plus servant quarters. Those are a bit lower, around 6%, but I think these units are more unique. So there could be a stronger capital appreciation play with the larger units. So Alex, can you elaborate on the payment plan?
Okay, at this moment, because we have not yet officially start, we are requesting a booking fee, actually, a commitment fee. For 1 bedroom, we are asking for 500,000 shillings. 2 bedroom plus studio, 800,000 shillings. And the 3-4 bedroom, 1 million deposit.
Yeah. So, between $3,000 and $10,000 booking fee. What about the payment plan? Over how many years can people pay?
Yeah, then after we officially start, we will request the client to pay we have a flexible payment plan. The standard one is when we officially start, you top up to 20%. Then every quarter, you pay 10%. Because the construction will take around 2.5 years. So when we complete the project, then you also complete the payment plan. But there's also some other flexible we can discuss with the client, which we think maybe can suit their needs.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing about doing business with the Chinese. You can always discuss and find a mutually beneficial solution.
All what we want is a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So look, I like the fact that it's a 2.5-year payment plan in Kenyan shillings because, as I said, I think that there's going to be a debt crisis in the future, and if there's a devaluation in the next 2.5 years, my last payments will be a lot lower, significantly lower. So the Kenyan shilling currently is at approximately 130 to the dollar. It sank down to 160 to the dollar back in February. I don't see why in the next year or two it wouldn't go back to 160 and beyond. Look, I'm not basing my financials on this, but in my mind there's a relatively high likelihood, or it's a free call option that there could be a devaluation, which would be good. But then again, you're investing in Kenya, it comes with emerging market currency risk, so your rent will be a bit lower down the line. But yeah, so just, you need to understand that you're investing in Kenyan shillings. In this area specifically, in the core center of Nairobi, it's more of a dollarized economy. If the Kenyan shilling were to crash, you would see the price of real estate, even in Kenyan shillings, just revalue itself, as well as some of the rents. A lot of the rents are actually in dollars in this area. Yeah. Maybe 10 to 15% of leases in this area are actually in dollars and not in Kenyan shillings. Last point is construction has stopped because there's an injunction in the whole neighborhood. So welcome to investing in Africa. There are always random challenges. Can you tell us about the injunction, which is why no one is working here?
Yes, actually there's an injunction, but this injunction is not to a particular single project. Actually, it affects all the areas. I think more than 15 projects. Actually, it's a neighborhood, the Association of Raft Road Residency. They want the county government and other related department to sort out the issue of the infrastructure, because now you see with more development, the population is increasing. Yeah, as a developer, so we are trying to cooperate with the government, with the neighborhood, but also all the parties' lawyers, we are actively communicating with each other. So we hope to sort out this issue as soon as possible.
Cool. Let's say you lose the court case and I deposited whatever, $5,000 with you as the booking fee. What happens?
Actually, we have got all the legal approval from the government, including the county approval, the NEMA approval, the NCA construction approval. Now, because we have not officially started, that's why we request a booking fee of that 500 or to 1 million. For the client to book now, you get an earlier chance to secure the unit, maybe a high floor which you may like. But there are also some things I have to be honest with our client. So if you decide to cancel the deal before we start, because we also cost a lot of labor or energy or time, so you will lose 10% of the commitment fee you paid. That will be like 50K to 100,000. Then if you want to cancel the deal after we officially start, that time which means we already, the court case sorted out, then you have to lost 10% of the total purchase price.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. I mean, that's fair. And what if the injunction results in you having to lower the amount of apartments? So I'm buying on the 15th floor. Let's say the injunction comes and they say, oh, you can only build 14. What happens to my booking fee? Do I get it all, or do I also lose 10%?
I don't think it will happen, actually.
We're going worst case scenario here. We're trying to prepare people.
If the approval to be amended, maybe a lower floor. Of course, for the high floor, the client we have to return the money. Then, but for the lower floor, which is not affected,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Go.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, fantastic. So look, if you're interested in finding out more about this project, this development, about real estate here in Nairobi, there's a link below, and then you can get in touch directly with the team and ask all your questions regarding everything from A to Z, buying here in Kenya, taxes, the purchasing process, all the units, the prices, everything you want to know. Great. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your
Thank
time. Really appreciate it. Make sure to download my free ebook, 12 Mistakes to Avoid When Investing in International Real Estate, which you can find on my website, link below. And feel free to follow me on Instagram @TheWandering Investor. I look forward to hearing from you.